Metropolitan Police data has shown that in the past 3 years, 5,276 children have been searched after being arrested. Now, children, I believe, in this context are those under the age of 18, which is, to be fair, far less than I expected it to be honest. However, these figures are only for those who had been arrested as well, and not for situations such as child Q, who wasn't arrested, so the number will likely be far higher. And campaigners are now calling for a real change after it said that 3,939, around 75%, were from ethnically diverse backgrounds. Now, all the reports seem to be going on about black folk again, and although I see black people being stopped, detained, searched and arrested, I also see white folk going through the same things. Granted, by government's design, however, there are places in London that are either predominantly white, these appear to be more affluent areas, and others that are predominantly ethnic, and these appear to be more deprived areas. These lesser affluent areas are by nature a higher crime rate due to this, so it's kind of expected that police will target those areas more. But let's not forget that white folk also live in these deprived areas and also get stopped, searched and arrested too. But because they are predominantly ethnic areas, it makes mathematical sense. This isn't me making it up, it's not me assuming, it makes mathematical sense. If you have an area with more ethnic people than white people, then of course more ethnic people are going to get stopped and searched. It just makes mathematical sense. Now, let's not forget that when people go to councils for homing, for example, they will likely be put in an area that reflects your social status. Therefore, more of the same kind of people are placed in the same area, such as people with little to nothing will be placed in these more deprived areas. Wayman Bennett, co-founder of Stand Up to Racism campaign group, said the figures are shocking. You judge a society on how it treats its children. These figures are shocking and expose institutional racism in the Met Police. We cannot have another statement without real change. He also said it's shocking that these things are still going ahead more than 2 decades after the report into the death of Stephen Lawrence was published. He said, we need urgent change to deliver a police force that works in the 21st century. But the problem is people fail to remember that a lot of this is by government design. So although the police act like thugs, not all of them are specifically targeting black folk. It just so happens they may be in an area that is likely to be patrolled more due to the deprivation of that area. But yes, before anyone jumps on me and starts having a go, I do agree that some do have discriminatory views towards certain people. Now obviously all of this is in the wake of child Q being unlawfully strip searched, something I certainly do not condone. But it's being used again by the mainstream media to race bait and stir up hatred. In regards to child Q, the Metropolitan Police have defended its policy, known as more thorough search where intimate parts are exposed, or MTIP, in response to the figures. A spokesperson for the Met said, we work closely with communities in London and understand that stop and search can have a significant and lasting impact on someone, especially an MTIP search, where intimate parts are exposed in custody. Every search must be lawful, proportionate and necessary and carried out with respect, dignity and empathy. While some may question whether any child should be subjected to an MTIP or strip search, there are occasions when it is very necessary to prevent harm to children who may be exploited by gangs, county lines and drug dealers. Used appropriately, stop and search powers save lives are an important tactic to keep Londoners safe, helping us identify criminality and take drugs and dangerous weapons off the street. Officers are highly trained, that's debatable, around the use of stop and search. Part of the training is around unbiased decision making, unconscious bias and the impact of the use of the powers on communities. There is disparity in the overall use of stop and search in relation to gender, age and race. Sadly, different crimes tend to affect different groups more than others, and it remains a tragic truth that knife crime and street violence in London disproportionately affects boys and young men, particularly of African Caribbean heritage, both in terms of being victims and perpetrators. That said, we do not underestimate the impact that the use of stop and search has on some individuals, and that it continues to cause significant concern within some communities. Now, I don't defend discrimination of any kind, and I will stand up for people who have been discriminated against, whether they're black or white. But targeting and using single incidents as a tool to further divide our communities is something the government and the mainstream media have been doing for far too long, and people fall for it. And by falling into that trap, it enables them to continue doing it. So let's stop seeing people as different colours. We are all the same, only that some of us have more melanin in our bodies than others. It's just like some people have a higher IQ than others. Some go bald and some don't. It's about genetics, not the person. And the more that we realise that, and the more that we come together to help and protect each other, regardless to what you look like, the less the government will be able to use, or the mainstream media will be able to use these divide and conquer tactics against us. Big thank you to channel supporters, especially these guys. Your support is truly appreciated. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, as I know many of you will. And until next time, stay safe, look after each other, film the police and other officials.